Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and here's her story. Hi, Ollie. I hope you're healing well. I cringed when I saw your arm. I had many broken bones, and the pain, I understand, is just so unbearable and inescapable. I understand how important it is to have it heal without any misplacement or deformity, as it will be more painful later on and will take longer to heal. I'm sure you know that already. Thank you for the videos you make. I couldn't imagine the amount of people you must have helped in some way over the years. I know it has helped me with a greater understanding of the reality we all worldwide are living in. I'm in Australia, and the liberal radical left has invaded and taken over so many parts of our society and culture. Yeah. And here's the thing. I didn't realize, I knew very early on that Australia and Europe and UK have a huge narcissism problem. They're probably a generation ahead of us. What I didn't realize until a few years is how out of control the left is in Australia. Specifically, your deadbeat boomer class. Your deadbeat hippie boomer class. They are, oh my God, they are the worst. They're worse than they are in the United States. They are the worst virtue signaling, racist, claiming not to be, but they are the most racist, disgusting, violent, nasty people, the Australian left. They are just despicable. They are just despicable over there. And let's not forget that it was Australia, one of the main countries, trying to overthrow Trump and the election with their diplomats. They got a lot to answer for. Australia's got a lot to answer for. Even some of the people who are conservative, I can hear or see the leftist doctrine coming out. That's not the reason why I'm writing you, though. My story, I feel, is way too long and complex to get it all out at once. I also prefer not to spend too much time looking back unless it's for the purpose of learning or helping others. I'm not qualified to diagnose people, and so I just want to put it out there that my opinion is based on research and experience, but no medical qualifications. Your recent video had me thinking about the dreaded exchanging of gifts, whether it's Christmas or birthdays. I remember Richard Grannon, Spartan Life Coach, I recommend his YouTube channel, listing the terrible gift giving as red flag for narcissists. In my experience, this rings very true. 3 people that I would say were borderline narcissists were either terrible at gift giving. Most of the time it came with hidden strings and expectations. I had to be over the top grateful for the gift, or they would never quit asking me if I liked it. You know, I've been in depth on the gift giving of the narcissist. There is always strings attached, whether it be emotional, financial. You didn't respond correctly enough. You weren't grateful enough. You didn't thank people enough. You didn't do this. Keep your fucking gift, because all it is a weapon. All it is a weapon. My mother, though, I think, is the worst and has been doing it since I can remember. She'll ask me what I would want for Christmas, birthdays, and occasion. I would tell her a few things at various prices because I am one in a family of 5 kids and money's always tight. They ask you what you want so they can disappoint you and then make you feel bad about it on the day. They ask you what you want so they cannot get it to you, get you some shitty alternative, and then feign ignorance, and then try to play pity, and then you're the asshole. It's a power play. This is why, at 16, 17, I stopped telling my parents, I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything from you, because I called them right out on it. I know your game. My brother learned that game even earlier than I did. He stopped. I don't want anything from you people. because I know what you're about. I know what your gifts are about. And I would question whenever they say money's always tight. Well, how do you have 5 kids then? Money's tight except when it's doing things they want. I would ask, is money tight when your mother wants to do the things she wants? Usually not. Oh, although she gambled a lot, both my parents are smokers, and my dad, I wouldn't say was an alcoholic, but he would drink frequently. So money was tight, but there's money to gamble, cigarettes, and booze. Got it. Money ain't as tight as they wanted you to think it was. So they always have money for the stuff, but was super cheap when it came to food, clothing, or other basic needs. Right. Money wasn't tight. Money wasn't tight. They just wanted to spend it on themselves. Sounds like typical boomer parents, if you ask me. The Aussie boomer is even worse than the American boomer, believe it or not. They're even worse. They are so nasty and vile. I only recall maybe a handful of times where I actually got something that I asked for. And as an adult, I feel ashamed and ungrateful that I would complain. I just don't know that it's a condition, if that's a conditioned response or not. I guess objectively my intention isn't to complain. I'm just stating the facts. How about you just get a nice gift? See, and here's where it goes. That a birthday gift, a Christmas present, any other type of present has to have this much stress and anxiety attached to it for decades. For decades. Is that what birthdays and holidays and gift giving is supposed to be about? No. That's what the narc boomers made it about. Even the gift to you has to be about them, about your response, and you're thankful, and you kissing their fucking ass because they sacrificed a little bit of fucking booze or cigarettes for themselves to give you a birthday present. Gee, thanks, boomer. Thanks. My mother one year asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I remember asking for a charm bracelet. Every Christmas we would get tons of little cheap gifts. It was great when we were little, but I changed as I got older. I knew the bracelet could be expensive, and I told her I didn't expect her to buy a whole heap of other stuff when most or all of our money that she allocated probably would have gone to the charm bracelet. For years, though, I kept getting lots of other stuff, which was great, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't figure out why she would bother asking me what I would want when she always got what she wanted to get me. Just to disappoint you. They do it, it's a control. They do it just to disappoint you. So the day of, they can make you feel like an asshole. So they could guilt trip you. That's why. They know, this was my mother's fucking favorite game to play on holidays and birthdays, and to the point where you called her on, and then she got upset that I called her on it, but she never denied it. That's the thing with my mother. She could never deny it because she always knew she was a cheap fuck. She knew it. She knew she denied me giving me money to go out with my friends as a kid to get a soda at 7-Eleven or go to McDonald's for fries. She knew it. She knew it, and she knew she was doing it when she did it. She admitted she knew she was doing it. Yeah, I know, I never gave you. I know. Must have been terrible for you. I know. And she wasn't being facetious or sarcastic about it. She knew it. There's a reason why she did it. Then I would feel guilty and ashamed for thinking that. That was the point. One year when I was 16, I seen a small box in the Christmas tree with my name on it. Every year for I don't know how long, when she asked me what I wanted, I would say the same gift, charm bracelet. So I got super excited. It was the shape of a box that a bracelet would be in. Christmas Day finally came, but when I opened the gift, it wasn't a charm bracelet. but it was a really nice watch I did like, and I wore it. And how many times did you wear it before she started wearing it herself, I wonder? I think still, even 20 years later, I was disappointed, though it wasn't a bracelet, and I felt like such an ungrateful, spoiled brat. Even now, it stirs up emotions of embarrassment, but I was so confused. The watch was really nice and would have been expensive, so she could have afforded the bracelet, but it wasn't what she wanted to buy me, she said. I know you've been wanting a bracelet, but I really wanted to give you a watch. I thanked her and told her I liked it, which I really did. But at that point, I dropped the whole bracelet thing. It was just a bracelet and not worth it. No, it wasn't a bracelet. That bracelet represents a part of your ability to stand up for yourself. And you accepting it was your mother breaking you. It was your mother breaking you. What you should have said is, take your watch back and don't give me anything. That's what I did. Okay, because that takes the power, puts it right on her. I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything from you. They can't argue with that. They don't know, the narc doesn't know what to do with that, because they can't call you selfish. They can't call you greedy. I don't want it. Keep it for yourself, because that's who you bought it for, not for me. It's not about the bracelet. It's not about the watch. It's what it represents. The bracelet represented your will, and you accepting the watch is you getting your will broken. My mother, I think, is a borderline. She's manipulative, dramatic, thinks she knows best about everything, and will switch between outright aggression, the passive aggression, whichever one is going to get her what she wanted. Yeah, that's borderline. This is something that borderlines do. Borderlines want to break your will. They want to break you. That's what they do. And gift giving is a great way to do it, because it makes them look virtuous. I did the best I can, and I can't afford it, and she just rejected her. I know your game. You got to call them on the gift giving game. You got to call them on it. And you call them on it by like, you know what? This is for you anyway. Just keep it. But as always, the biggest victim then and the same time is all-knowing and wise. No one's a better mother than her, but also can be vague and forgetful when it suits her. Oh, and the massive control freak. She's got my dad all twisted, but he is not an innocent victim. No, they never are. My grandfather on my mother's side was a pedophile. He abused countless of people in the family, possibly male and female. My mother was a victim of my grandfather, and as far as I'm aware, my dad knew about what he did to my mother. However, they still allowed that monster full access to me and my other brothers and sisters. I'm the third youngest daughter, and I have two older sisters, two younger brothers. My sisters and I were abused by that monster repeatedly, and we were also abused by an uncle, my mother's brother. He was likely to have abused my grandfather. Doesn't excuse what he did, but that whole family is just a collective mess of dysfunction. Yep, that's how it works. That's how it works. Your father's just as much to blame, even more to blame, because he's from outside the family, and he let it continue. Why? Why did he let it continue? Probably because your father married another version of his mother, which is what your mother is. So your father probably was raised by a borderline, his mother. That's why. Listen, you don't come from a normal family and just put up with that. You don't. You don't. The only way you put up with that is if you're marrying what you just left. And that's probably what your father did. I guarantee it. The point of me writing was the weird gift giving and receiving that goes with narcissists. It does seem to be common trait. Would like to hear your thoughts on it. Of course, honesty in your opinion was I was being spoiled, selfish brat, and I felt I was being. No, you got to understand what the gift giving represents. It represents breaking your will to stand up to them, your will to be an individual, your will to want things for yourself. To game. You have nothing to feel good. Listen, this is the game my mother played with me, and they tried to play it with my brother as well. They're trying to break your will. There's nothing wrong with a kid wanting nice birthday or Christmas presents, especially when the family has 5 kids and they're spending it on gambling, booze, and cigarettes. I've let it go now. It's just a memory that comes up every now and then. I was diagnosed with CPTSD, and so my emotions and thoughts can be twisted. But I'm getting better. Triggers are massively diminished, and I very, very rarely have emotional flashbacks. I became a Christian a few years back. Experienced the born again thing. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I've never been the same since. Progressively healthier, content, and have the strength to face trauma that I experienced and heal. Of course, I contributed to Jesus. I know that may sound weird, and I apologize if that triggers the negative stuff for you or anyone else. No, Jesus is awesome. There's nothing wrong with following Jesus. I would caution you on the church, though, because these churches end up being other cults, as well. And they're prime for victims of narcissistic abuse like yourself. However, I'm not saying you're in a bad church. I'm saying be aware of it. You don't need to be in a church to have a close relationship with God or Jesus or to follow his teachings. My problem's with organized religion. My problem's not with Jesus. Jesus is awesome. There are so many hypocrites that they are doing endless damage to people and call themselves Christian. That's my worry. Be careful. Be careful, because churches, and it's riddled with narcs. Riddled. All religions. All religions. I'll leave it at that for now. I hope you get better soon. Thank you for all your help to me and other people who are alone and really need support. Anonymous. You have to understand what the narc's gift represents. The gift giving of the narcissist is meant to break your will. It's meant to break you, because they're not giving you what they ask you what you want, and then they do the opposite. And then they want to use guilt and intimidation, and that you're a bad person against you. It is a long play game. And to prove it, look how long into your adulthood this is still bothering you. You got to understand what the gift represents. The gift represents them trying to break your will to stand up to them, your will to have any type of self-esteem or a life of your own, or want nice things for yourself, or to just be loved. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. They're breaking your will to be loved. Because you're not worth it. You're not even worth a charm bracelet. And if you don't like it, then you're the bad person. That's the game. That's how it works. That's the game I lived. That's the game my mother played. A game she couldn't even deny playing because it was so obvious. So, hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and your story, Anonymous. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or you'd like to just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.